In the last episode of Learning to Think, we met Doug, who considers himself a doer and not a thinker. Doug prefers to dissolve from a situation where he is expected to give a critical analysis or suggest new ideas. Fear of ridicule and shame that will follow makes him shut up completely. However, he figures there is no harm in learning how his brain works in the hope that he will get some insights into improving his thinking skills. Doug finds that there are two systems in his brain, the reptilian brain and the neocortex. The reptilian brain has been part of living organisms for millions of years. This system works on instincts and is great at making quick decisions like fight or flight. But this system of the brain also has its downsides. It can, at times, jump to wrong conclusions because it is based on subconscious influences like bias, beliefs, assumptions, and prejudices, which may be very wrong. The second system, the neocortex, allows us to do deliberate thinking or slow, rational thinking. On digging deeper, Doug learns that experts have suggested processes and techniques to improve our analytical thinking and creativity. For example, thinking expert Edward de Bono suggests the Poe technique to overcome limitations of inherent assumptions we have that limit our imagination. While using Poe technique, when you are tackling something that on the face of it looks implausible, instead of saying a straight no, you say Poe. Poe is for possible. For example, to the idea cars with square wheels, you don't say no, you say Poe. It may happen that this type of thinking leads to creation of a vehicle that is suited for terrains where round wheels do not work, say for marshy land, deep sea surface, or alien terrains. To cultivate your analytical thinking skills, you deliberately look at a situation from many different perspectives. For example, while considering the impact of a political party's election manifesto that promises higher corporation tax, look at it from the perspective of small and large domestic companies, multinationals, mom and pop shops, and so forth. Multiple perspectives help overcome ethnocentric and egocentric biases we have and help in doing better analysis. To judge the quality and accuracy of online information, a technique like triangulation of information or looking at least 3 different credible sources of information before reaching a conclusion is very useful. Doug's research makes him see thinking skills as a spectrum. It starts with understanding how brain is both a pattern matching machine and a deliberate thinking engine. Learning to optimally use both systems appropriately can improve our analytical and critical thinking skills. Analytical and critical thinking helps us make better choices and judicious decisions. Once our ability to analyze improves, we can connect the dots very differently and come up with innovative solutions. This is called creative thinking. Doug learns that creative thinking is thinking that leads to new ideas that are useful. It involves changing your perspective and connecting the dots in novel ways. Doug loves the story of Dexter. Dexter is 8 years old. Every time his older brother's friends ask him to choose between a 50 pence coin and a 1 pound coin, Dexter chooses the 50 pence coin because it is larger in size, and surely bigger is better. One day, a well-meaning adult who does not like Dexter being laughed at explains to Dexter that even though the 50 pence coin looks bigger, it's smaller in value than the 1 pound coin. A 1 pound coin would buy Dexter twice as many candies as the 50 pence coin. Dexter explains to the adult that he understands, but if he were to choose the 1 pound coin, his brother's friends would not get to laugh at him, and the game would end after just one go. By choosing the 50 pence coin, Dexter has made a lot more money. Dexter is joining the dots in a whole new way. He has redefined the problem itself. This is creative thinking. Creative thinking is about changing our frame of reference when we look at inputs. Doug learns of students at Stanford University who were given $5 and 2 hours to create something of value. Given this sort of challenge, most of us would think of setting a lemonade stand, because what else can you do with just $5? At the end of the week, these students had to make a 3-minute presentation of their experiment to a group of 100-odd Stanford students. One of the teams went to a local business and told them that they would advertise the business to 100 Stanford students for a full 3 minutes. The local business was delighted at this opportunity and agreed to compensate the students well. This team won the competition. They figured that in the challenge, it was not the $5 or the 2 hours that were the constraint. The most valuable element was the 3 minutes in front of 100 Stanford students. They completely changed the frame of reference. Doug learns that creativity is not a genetic trait or a black box. It is a skill that can be learned. There are techniques like remote association, convergent and divergent thinking, and asking the right questions. Questions like, why not? What if? How else? That help change the frame of reference. These techniques foster individual creativity. Doug also understands that given the complex nature of the problems we face, problems that require varied skills and competencies, a lone creative genius model no longer works. Collaborative creativity has become imperative. Good news is that there are techniques to enhance collaborative thinking, like the 6 hats thinking method, brainstorming techniques, and moonshot thinking. Doug figures that analytical thinking and creativity are the foundation for innovative thinking and judicious decision making. Innovation happens when creativity is applied to find scalable solutions to real-world problems. Judicious decisions are taken once we understand when to rely on intuition and when to resort to deliberate thinking. Awareness about the spectrum of thinking skills, a spectrum that ranges from instinctive thinking to conscious thinking, leads to metacognition, or thinking about our thinking. Metacognition further helps us improve our thinking skills. Armed with this new understanding, Doug resolves to deliberately and diligently build his confidence, applying the techniques he has learned and taking a step-by-step approach to improving his thinking skills. More importantly, Doug now realizes that failures he will face will be nothing but data. Data that will help him perform better in the next attempt.